So welcome all to the second pitching round from Translational Potential. So we will start with detectives. You all get 4 minutes for the pitch and 10 minutes for the questions. After 3 minutes, I will do like this so that you can see that there's 1 minute left. So detectives can start.
Hi, I'm Akram,
And I'm Gabriela from Detectas, and we would like to introduce you to our sensor, which could be a groundbreaking opportunity for the market. Firstly, I don't know if you know, but to measure creatinine nowadays, you have to go to a hospital, get blood samples and urine samples maybe, and wait for the next day or maybe 2 days to get the results back. And if you compare it to measuring glucose, which can be done at home, I don't know if we have anybody here that has a glucose monitoring patch or you know anybody that has it, but I think you know that it's fairly an easy process that you can have it throughout the day and monitoring it currently. And comparing both of them, you can say that clearly it's very outdated how you measure creatinine, and we can do better. Therefore, we have the solution for you, and you may ask how does it work and how can we do better than that? Well, firstly, utilizing quartz crystal microbalance technology, we provide a balance sensor that can give continuous measuring of the creatinine every day, throughout the day, at any time. Obviously, I can say a little bit of the technology in case someone was not here for the innovation pitch, but it works using the frequency from the creatinine, and that is translated into creatinine concentration. And then it's continuous because it has an enzyme that is immobilized on the cold surface, so that makes it reusable as many times as possible and as continuous as possible. And now on this slide, you can see the portability. I don't know if it's very good for the light, but currently we are somewhere around here as a belt attachment. But we want to do better and we want to improve it. As I was mentioning before, the continuous glucose monitoring patch will be an ideal, and we do believe that our technology can get there. And you can see that it's very good for the market, as seen for the Abbott company and many other companies that produce it in mass and sell it.
So, as you can kind of see from the graph, around 800 million people worldwide are affected by chronic kidney disease, and we hope to reach around 100 million people due to infrastructure limitations. And of this, within 1 to 4 years, we aim to reach 3 million people, mainly within Northern Europe. And so the mobility of our product allows customers to just connect, allows consumers to just connect to their smartphones, and then we can upload their information onto relevant medical databases. And this improves the early detection, allowing for proactive management of kidney disease, which obviously leads to improved patient outcomes and reduced healthcare costs. And furthermore, our main revenue streams is basically a subscription plan that's aimed for healthcare providers, clinics, and insurance companies. And the way that works is just based on monthly payments and recurring deliveries of our sensor. As alternatives, we can look into direct sales to medical wholesalers and also the licensing of our QCM technology for other uses. A subscription plan is kind of important in our business model because that allows us to secure revenue and also plan for the future. Finding a key partner is crucial to a business, and therefore we think medical device manufacturers could greatly help streamline our manufacturing, and also healthcare providers and insurance companies would be great partners as they allow us to understand our customers' wants and needs. Furthermore, as development, we want to look into developing into IoT technology, which allows our consumer to just connect to an app on their smartphone and easily reach out to medical databases, which can process and create tailor-made plans for their consumer, for the consumer using their pre-existing medical records. And that's why we also chose the Nordics as our initial market, because the Nordics are known for having prevalent and for preferring medical databases that are online and accessible. Yeah, and that's our.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, any questions? We are welcome to take any questions. Yeah.
My question is, what specific?
Oh.
Yeah, this is better. My question is with the target group you selected for your patients. In your report, I couldn't really find a specific target group. It was just patients with kidney failure. So what specific target group did you select and how did you validate that?
I think we mainly asked on the numbers that about 10% of the population already suffers of kidney disease, and we were trying to act upon that population more. And
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people, like you said, 10% of the population suffers from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But our target audience, we narrowed it down using infrastructure limitations, as this product is applicable to sort of anybody with chronic kidney disease. So there's not a specific target audience in that sense, but obviously, like I said, infrastructure limitation means that we can't access most of Asia because it's going to be kind of hard to distribute our products there and to ensure the products are maintained to like correct standards. And therefore, we wanted to introduce different machine learning and IoT technology, which is more useful when we're looking at sections of the population that have their medical records on databases online and accessible. So that's why.
Okay,
Northern
thank
Europe.
you. One more question to continue on that. Your product is a product as a service, and you introduce a mobile app. Did you think about the use of the app for specific people? Because 10% of the population is a lot, and there are a lot of different people, from young people, the generation you're in, and old people. How does using the app look like for all the different kinds of people in your target group?
I mean, using the app for younger people has a lot to do because they understand a lot more about technology and what can be used for. Therefore, putting in your daily routine and understanding how you can incorporate that into the app to create a solution that's for your everyday would be something that's geared towards younger population, maybe 40 and under. I think that would be the machine learning capabilities. For older people, we have alerts and emergency contacts, which of course is also an option for younger people. But for older people, that would be the main benefits of the app. As you have these alerts, they allow you to sort of, when you're creating in-level spikes, that allows like an alert be sent out to your emergency contacts, and that's basically it for older people.
And on that note, I can add that I do believe that when someone purchases it, like one of the staff or anybody else can just help them set up really quickly. The app would not be a lot to set up, as it just mainly contains of the data, which can, I think, be directly sent by the doctor or something. And then for the other people, it would be just simple because it would go on, turn on Bluetooth, and it connects or something.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Still going back a bit, because I'm a bit confused in your slide on your Samsung. On the right-hand side, if I read it correctly, you're naming the number of patients, which in my thought are your end users, whereas on the left-hand side, it's your customer who's actually going to pay to get your product. So the customer is the hospital and the clinic, the user is the patient. But I'm missing in your storyline the connection between why is the hospital going to buy your product? It's obvious that the patient might want to use it, but what's the trigger?
Great question. The trigger is the fact that we want to develop IoT solutions, and as a healthcare provider, what our product does is it makes healthcare greatly more efficient for them, because they don't have to sit there and wait. Like they have a phlebotomist. Their phlebotomist is now occupied with taking blood measurements and then waiting that 1 to 2 hours for the QCM or the larger machine to sample all their blood and figure out what does the creatine level look like. With our product, you can just you can give a consumer, or you can give a consumer the product, and now you're able to collect that data without having to be there and physically put in manpower into that process. And that's sort of the link between why the hospitals and clinics would like to purchase our product. And also, like I said before, when it comes to the Northern Europe, it's much easier for these hospitals to implement our product in their ecosystem.
And then last question on future ideas and strategy for, let's say, Detector's company. You're also mentioning collaborating with a medical device manufacturer. So if you would have to choose, is Detectors in the future going to be a company with its own production, or are you going to build the next generation analytics, or are you more the app builders who work the data? What is the main goal of what's driving the company?
I think our main goal would be working on the app, and would be looking to improve sort of the machine learning capabilities that we can offer our users, because that's where we really see the value added in our app, right? It's not just creating a product. That's not where we add value. And that's why we said partners would help us with that, because a partner like Unitron could really sort of streamline that process for us and let us know that, well, can we do better with our sensor? And of course, that's why we want partners that are manufacturers, because they can help us with that, while we can focus a lot more of our resources on improving the IoT and improving the sort of the value added through the app.
And on that note, I think our values would be to mainly focus to give our customers the best possible. So if we see that we need some external for manufacturing, we will take that. We will not hesitate to take that possibility if that means improving someone's life.
I would also say that because we are students right now at university, we can also have the possibility to do some more research on the biochemical part, on the electronical part. So we can also help our partners with researching what's the best choice of a biochemical part, or what's the best way to work. So we can be helping each other in, I think, all the parts, because everyone here just worked on a part. So we can further research them. Thank you.
At the current target market, and the smallest one that you want to target, that's still CKD patients. But within CKD patients, you have CKD patients who just came out of transplantation, who need to be monitored daily, but also CKD stage 1 to 2. And you don't make a differentiation here, so I assume that you say your product is applicable to everyone. So yes. Why would somebody who now has CKD in stages 1 to 4, who has a medical need to monitor once every quarter to half a year, wear a device and pay for a device that helps them monitor continuously? What is the added benefit of that?
Well, the added benefit was that they would have a safer and increased feeling of security, as they can go along with their daily life without ever thinking that, oh, I feel tired, maybe something's sick, I have to go to the hospital, get it checked out, in case that, let's say, because you do have, as you said, you only have to go maybe 4 times a year to the hospital to get it checked out. But I think that once you're aware that you have a condition, you cannot rest assured if you don't have that everyday monitoring, if you don't have that everyday feedback that you are doing okay today, everything's going well. Because yes, I would agree that there will be maybe some people that would not care as much, but there will be a lot more people that it will have just a ease of mind to know every day where their creatinine level is and if their condition is worsening or getting better.
You make perfect sense when you say that if you're only once per 6 months you have to make a measurement, maybe it's not that relevant to you, right? But where it can be relevant is when you're making that measurement once a quarter, maybe you're not in the country. Maybe you're someone that travels a lot for work. Maybe you're a student that has to go back to their family, and then you have to try and organize, where can I get the measurements done where I live if I'm there for the 3 months, or where can I get the measurements done, where I'm studying. That whole hassle can be avoided when you have a simple device like this that you can fit in your backpack and you can go around with it, right? And that so it also obviously depends a lot on the lifestyle, and we did not put that into the TAM-SAM graph, as it would be maybe get a lot of sort of squares over there. So we hope that this would create a general representation, and while there are a lot of people that could be outliers that we can include, we also think that that our product also offers benefit to them.
Did you validate this with talks with actual patients? Because in general, reminding people every day of something that can be a danger psychologically doesn't help you feel more safe. Like if you put up posters everywhere, like be aware of pickpocketers, people tend to feel less safe.
Sorry, the 10 minutes are over.
But we can meet at our booth because we're on the partner market and we can talk more about this.
That's great.
So thank you. See you there.
Very much.
Hi, I'm Addie, and this is Lily. So, chronic kidney disease is extremely prevalent in the United States, with 1 in 7 adults suffering from it. And imagine your grandparent has to get a kidney transplant when it could have been prevented early on. This is actually a true story for 9 in 10 American adults who do not know that they have it until it's too late. And so that is why Create Connect presents a solution. So our biosensor consists of 2 main components. The first is a flow cell that has an aptamer to bind the creatinine and a laser to shine the signal and translate it into an app. So our proposition promises 3 values. The first is ease of use for both patients and staff because both parties can communicate to each other in real time. And next is a comparative pricing model similar to the existing technologies made possible through insurance. And lastly, Create Connect will provide a reliable diagnosis that has regular and convenient monitoring that you could do at home. And so our main target audience is CKD patients and those at risk, but we would also want to work with doctors and healthcare providers in hospitals, in major US hospitals, such as the Mayo Clinic. And lastly, we would work with insurers to be able to provide a coverage for patients. And so there are 4 key resources that SensTech would need to market our product to public. The first is Fish and Richardson, which would provide intellectual protection with patents. Blue Cross Blue Shield would provide us accessibility through insurance to lower our costs for our product. And Philips Medisize would give us high quality materials so we'll be able to create a complex yet scalable product. And Deloitte would ensure us efficient marketing and distribution.
To publicize our product, we've devised a phased rollout. We would first introduce the biosensor to nephrology MDs at large practices and conferences such as Kidney Week. We would next provide an educational video program for nephrology patients to understand the dangers of untreated CKD. And we would also direct them to a website where they can buy our product. Next, we would introduce the biosensor to endocrinologists and their patients who are also at risk in a similar fashion. And finally, we would create and release a membership program so patients can cut down on repeated costs. So as you can see in this chart here, we've highlighted a few key values of our 10-year projection of our finances. In 2025, we estimate that we will invest $2 million into research and development to refine our product and upscale production. And then in 2031, we hope to have a revenue of $5 million, and this was estimated by multiplying 20,000 units sold in this year, priced at $200 per unit with a $60 yearly app fee. And then finally, the next important number is in 2033, we have a positive net profit of $9 million and hope to continue to grow this value as our consumer base grows. So our next steps are investing in R&D as we described before, and we would increase the value annually as we see fit. We would also be working with the companies that Addie listed to do everything that we've promised, and then we've also want to protect our intellectual property by patenting. And finally, we would be beginning clinical trials to meet regulations and standards according to the US FDA. Through these steps, Cornell SenseTech will bring a high-quality, marketable biosensor so patients can bring health into their own hands. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much for the presentation. I would like to ask maybe one or two questions on the financials. So,
Yeah.
so you have a detailed plan of cost and revenues, but where is the initial investment will be coming from to survive those years that will be at loss?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we would be looking to work and prepare for applying to grants that can be found in our university if we're starting this company at our university. But there's also a bunch of US national grants that we can apply for. We would also be looking to get sponsorships from various companies and work with them on getting components. And then if anyone else has anything to add, but that would be our overall.
There are indeed a number of grants, but if I look at the number quite rapidly, it's about $20 million of loss for the first 7 years. So do you see private investment? Where do,
Yeah,
if you
we
could
could
get a bit more detail on that, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, we could also work in private investment, but the negative 20 million that you're seeing isn't set in stone because we could be, that is mostly in R&D costs right now, and it's dependent on how our R&D goes. So if our product becomes very polished by 2028 or something, we can easily decrease the amount that we're spending there. But we would look to work with companies and private investors as well to hopefully get these grants. But it's definitely a risk that we would be taking to invest so much into R&D.
Yeah, so, but that was touch base a bit on my second question. So, so why would it take another 7 years to enter the market? So, what are the key steps to enter the market for you?
Yeah, so for that, we waited until 2031 to release our product because we will be, in those years, working to patent the device, which can take a couple years in and of itself, usually within 3 to 5 on average, but especially since we're a first startup company, it could possibly take longer. And we would also be navigating like safety regulations. We would also want to, yeah, I think just look to really meet all of our standards and regulations before fully bringing out our product and make sure it's up to code.
Okay. Thank you.
You clearly also, when we look at this profit loss statement, have a long runway to get to the healthcare market where certification and all those kind of things are really important. Have you considered target groups and use groups for your sensor that would need, and they would want creatine level measurements, but doesn't need to be certification as a health for healthcare markets and applications?
Wait, so your question is asking if we've considered audiences,
Target groups, yeah,
yeah,
users.
who need the device, but it doesn't need certification?
Yeah, so not for medical use.
Okay. We haven't directly looked into that, but I'm sure we could scale back our timeline if we wanted to release it earlier without those certifications.
Off the top of your mind, could you think of like target groups for which measuring creatine levels would be interesting, even though it's not for medical purposes?
Not for medical purposes. Athletes, for example, could want to measure their creatinine levels consistently in case it spikes really high, if they're having a lot of workouts, if they want to just make sure that their kidneys are functioning properly, because creatinine can be released quite a lot. And
would your product suit that target group? Could
that
help?
Yeah, they could definitely use it.
Thank you very much for your nice presentation. Let me see where I had your question. You mentioned that you're gonna be using, or directly the patient is gonna be using your sensor at home, not in hospital, right? But what happens if, and those are the chronic kidney patients, am I correct? Like the whole population. So what happens if the patient develops a chronic on acute kidney failure? What will be the patient journey from then on? Because then the patient will go up into a hospital. So how would your sensor be then, incorporated into the whole system?
Yeah, so we are marketing it towards patients at home so they can use it, but we also have a doctor side that they can also provide, because we have a two-way communication. So if something does spike or something unexpected happens at home, they can instantly contact their doctor or healthcare provider and through the callway and communications. And then healthcare providers in hospitals could also use this as a faster and easier way rather than all the in-lab testing, and be able to use it in hospitals too.
So then you would have, you would know, which patients you have as customers, but also you need to have the knowledge of the doctors that they use in order so that they have the same contract, because they're going to pay for your device as well, or using your device as well. So you need to have like a connection that you, if you target your patient, or if you directly supply to your patient, then you need to know which physician to contact as well in order for them to use your products if a patient goes into hospital. So would you directly, my question is, would you directly target then the doctor and patient, or how would that work?
We would mostly be targeting the patient, and since it's a continuous monitor, they can see that it's normal levels for the most part, and then when it spikes, like Addie said, they would go to the hospital. But the patients that we're targeting, like CKD patients, we would be targeting those who are in the early stages of CKD, so they don't have, or not that they don't, but it's not yet, they haven't yet experienced the need for a kidney transplant or dialysis, because we are trying to prevent those from happening. We're also targeting people who have diabetes and high blood pressure, because those can put people more at risk, and they might want to detect their creatinine in order to also avoid those complications.
Okay, but then when they end up in hospital, then again the same question, but yeah, sorry. No worries if you...
I think so. You're saying like if they have an emergency or something, how can we connect it to the doctor,
Exactly.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So in this way, like we are marketing towards the patients, but we have a app interface that will allow them to provide their primary care provider and like their information on it. And so once they go in, users like family members or loved ones would be able to see that information and give it to the doctor that is in charge of them, and they would be able to have all the information.
Okay, so the information is transferred, but could you, could you think of a use of your sensor then in hospital as well? Because it might be that this patient has like multiple trips to the hospital because of worsening of the kidney function. So could this be then integrated? Could you think about like?
Yes, if the person does need to go to the hospital multiple times, then I think they could probably transport or bring it to the hospital if they're also staying in the hospital for quite a long time. But hopefully, primarily, the consumer would be at home for use, but it's definitely available to use in other situations.
Okay, thank you.
There's almost 2 minutes left.
I have a quick question, yeah. Before you made this product, I can assume that you did some user research. What were your findings in that, and how did your findings translate into the features of your design?
Do you mean like the biosensor component itself?
Well, the whole product, so the app, the two interfaces for the patient and the doctor. What did you find in your user research that directly translated into some design decisions you made?
I think, wait, did you want to answer? Okay. So when designing the prototype, we were designing it based on other available products already on the market, We haven't been able to conduct extensive user research yet, and we would plan to do so in the future while also gaining feedback to continuously change our layout and make things more usable for the patients.
But I think like to speak on specific designs on our app, I don't know if we have a picture, but it's like, okay, what do users want to see right away? Like we want them to be able to input their weight, their height, their basic personal information, and then easily access like, okay, if there's a problem, what is the button to easily be able to call to contact our doctors, and then like a readable chart from the laser to output into the signal into easy numbers to read. And then kind of like for them to compare it and be like, okay, this is abnormal. And so they can be alerted.
Okay, thank you.
So the next team will be BioLink Alex.
Use this one to get to the next slide? Yeah. Yes.
You can also go to the previous slide.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon. I'm Daniela Flamin from the Portuguese team BioLink LX, and I'm here today to show you the potential of our biosensor. But first, did you know that 850 million people around the world suffer from kidney disease? That's almost 2 times as much people with diabetes and 20 times more people living with cancer. Take Emma, for example. On a health routine checkup, her blood test results made a doctor suspect she might suffer from early-stage kidney dysfunction, so he asked her to repeat the tests and get a follow-up appointment with a nephrologist in 3 months. At a follow-up, she finds out she most likely suffers from chronic kidney disease, possibly at stage 3. Now, this is quite common for these patients because of the initial symptomatic behavior, and often the diagnosis comes late when the conditions got worse. Currently, patients get annual renal appointments, or in the most severe cases, in every 3 months. But is it enough? According to the forum Kidney Disease, with over 11,000 members, there's a lot of posts that mentions anxiety and confusion over fluctuating creatine levels and also eGFR. And even some posts mention doctors are puzzled by these changes and ask to repeat tests. So not only patients but healthcare professionals are looking for a way to continuously check kidney health. Currently at the market, there are a lot of options that offer intermittent checks but lack continuous monitoring. So what is the solution? What is our solution? And that is AptoSense, a novel electrochemical biosensor that offers 5 minutes measurements in the interstitial fluid of creatinine levels and also estimation of GFR. So it offers timely alerts so patients like Emma can monitor their kidney health in a more efficient way, and also complete database that doctors can access in the appointment to understand what happened between the appointments. But AptoSense isn't just for chronic kidney disease patients. In kidney transplants, it will also be helpful to tailor immunotherapy and to avoid organ rejection. For people hospitalized with acute kidney injury, it can reduce the amount of blood tests drawn and also to speed up diagnosis. For people with risk factors for kidney disease, such as diabetes, hypertension, and so on, it offers a tool to continuously monitoring their kidney health. Considering the significant market in Europe for creatinine tests, especially in Germany, and also the prevalence of the disease, which is around 10% of the adult population, what is our strategy? So in this year, we expect to keep working on the prototype and to get intellectual property protection in Germany. In 2025, we'll start our clinical trials, and then in 2026, also publishing an article about it and getting unitary patent. 2027, we'll start to work on our details to get commercialization, such as CE certification, trademark registration, and establishing partnerships. So in 2028 to 2032, we'll launch our product to the German market. So With estimated production costs per unit of 500 euros, but we expect to reduce this by optimization of the prototype. We offer 5 different products to different needs. They go from purchasing the biosensor to a monthly subscription of disposable components to a cartridge recycling program. Considering there are around 18,000 pharmacies in Germany, which is our primary distributor, and the prevalence of the disease in the country, we estimate about 25,000 total sales in the first year across all of product options. With an annual revenue growth from 18 million to 25 million in the first 5 years of commercialization, with a break-even in 3 years and 7 months, we consider AptSens to be financially viable. So our team came up with a tool that's going to help a lot of people with kidney disease. AptSens, app to check your kidney health. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. So I have maybe a couple clarification questions. The first one is, well, to get to the market in 2028, you will need to raise money. So
yes.
How much and where would you raise money?
All right. So considering we are in university, we are university students, and we are in university, of course, we expect to keep working on the prototype, and with that we are working to get some grants and also from financial aid from college to keep working on the prototype, but also considering that we estimate to market investments of around 5 million only in patents, certification, and the prototype optimization, and around 18 million in the first year of commercialization, which is quite a large sum. We are considering capital ventures and going from seed to Series A type of funding. We're also considering business angels. So we are still working on different ways we can get our funding. Yes, thank you so much.
And so if you go, for example, this route, do you have an idea of what you will have to give to these angels or investors for them to partner with you?
All right, so I have to be honest, I am still working on understanding the process. I'm going through it. But I believe the most important thing is, besides having a stable business plan, to also make understand the clinical validation of it, to really show statistical data to understand which are public, the needs, and we have a market, but also getting studies that show that this works, this is viable, and people can use this safely and accurately. So I think these are the first steps, yes.
And my second question, so in the TRD, you've listed a number of partners that are quite large companies. What will be the win-win situation with them? So what is there for you, but
yes.
for them as well?
Yes. So currently, when you talk about the production costs, they are a bit higher than we expected to be because of the optimization. And from our revenue, annual revenue, we can see that it's not quite linear yet, and we are working on an economy of scale. So in this way, we are trying to get to more production, we get more revenue and less production costs, and in this way we can ensure that in every year our market will continue to grow, and we offer a growth of the services from these partners. We keep requiring their partnership, so to speak. So as years go by, we'll keep asking for their intervention in our business more and more. So I think it's going to be a win-win because we need the materials, we need their help, but in this way we make sure that we keep using their help, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the very nice speech. I noticed that you are a Portuguese team and that you start in Germany. Can you explain why?
Yes, of course. So that is okay. That is mainly due to a lot of research we do about markets, and we focus on understanding how creatinine tests work more specifically. And from a lot of resources, but this one more specifically, they mention a lot the German market in terms of creatinine tests a lot. So we also start to and we also research a bit about it, not only the prevalence of the disease, but also the companies here and the technology and how they invest on that. And I think that's a really good start of our commercialization in this way.
And what would follow then after Germany?
Yes. So we kept looking at the data, and I think it's really interesting to keep exploring the Europe, going from Netherlands and also other countries, and that is why the unitary patent comes in hand, because it's going to help us to protect our idea and keep working on the Europe markets. European markets access, and also going to America, of course, and that will also need another patent, at least to get our idea protected, and also another cost to achieve that market. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your nice presentation. Very clear. And again, on targeting the pharmacies, would the pharmacies be then only the distributors of your project?
Yes.
Or could you think of something, there is my question, that they could use it as well? Because, of course, the doctors or the patients are interested in creatinine. What about the pharmacies? They distribute drugs that are, you need a kidney function for that. So did you think about?
That is a really interesting approach. And by this question, now at the top of my head, I think about the CGM type of devices and how they connect sometimes to insulin pump, for example. So I think with continuous research and think about the prototype, maybe it will be interesting to explore that type of prototype for these products to really understand what type of drugs these people are getting for their condition and try to implement some sort of way that we can get pharmaceutical and in the medicine and to pump into the patient according to the, of course, measurements of the AfterSense. So yeah, that's a really interesting aspect that I didn't think about. Thank you.
You say about measuring drugs as well, drug levels.
Yes, that will be quite interesting as well.
Okay, that wasn't my idea. My idea was just that they could use the creatinine levels because they need the kidney functions as well. Yeah. So So the pharmacies would be then distributing your sensor. How would they be reimbursed, or how would that work?
Right. So we did not estimate those types of information, but that is really relevant. So we'll keep working on that to really understand how it works exactly to work, having a partnership with the pharmacy and get those types of reimbursement. So thank you for pointing that out.
Okay, thank you. I think the 10 minutes are. Oh. 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 Okay.
It might be a bit out of scope, but you trigger me because you specifically identify unitary patent. Your focus is fully on the German market in order to be able to actually enter market, right? Because one can debate on whether that's smart or not, but that's your choice and that's based on your research. Why the choice for unitary patent application?
Yes, I understand. So this year I took a class that was a lot about medical device regulation, and we learned about the various advantages of unitary patent, and I think it's understandable investment, specifically because we don't want to focus on the German market only initially, of course, to establish our market and establishing the importance of AfterSense, but it really helps when you're going to expand the market to other European countries. So I think it's going to be investment at first, yes, but it's going to be quite handful in the future. That was our rationale, yes.
Could you think of a risk?
Risk?
I don't know if they mentioned it in the course. But
not at the top of my head, but
well,
yes.
if you get challenged in any of the other countries in the unitary patent, then you lose it in Germany as well.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, yes, thank you.
Quick question: you have a persona called Emma. First one, is she real and did you talk to her? The second one, you have a really elaborate model with subscriptions and subscriptions. Right. What would actually a year of use of your product, what would be the cost to Emma? What would it cost her? Like without, if it's insured, what's the total that she would pay you?
So the first part of the question is Emma is and it isn't real. So from that forum I mentioned later, I read a lot of posts, and this was adapted from a real story, so to bring it up a little bit to understand what's going on. And about the costs, yes, the one-time biosensor purchase will be around 500 euros, if I'm not too wrong. And then about the disposable components, which best analogy will be for the glucose monitors. When you have the paper strip and you prick your finger, that is disposable component for us, what we call CPE. So yeah, we estimated it can perform well in 1 week of usage, so we'll need to exchange it every week. And that is when it comes to monthly subscription, because it can give the people that disposable complement every week, and the shipping will be free because of that monthly subscription. But of course, people could buy it in the pharmacy. So if I'm not wrong, it will be around 500 euros. The biosensor, and monthly around 80 euros, which can be, of course, financially not that easy to get. But we're still working on the business plan to try to cut up costs and make it more economically friendly for patients. Yes, thank you.
No.
Okay, so the next one is TrueSense.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire from Zhejiang University, China. So today let me introduce you to our innovative kidney biosensor. So as you can see, according to a national survey, about 1 in 10 adults in China are affected with kidney diseases, but only 1 in 8 of them are aware of it. In China alone, there are, sorry, it's the wrong version of slides. I sent this, yeah, I have a new one, and I sent it yesterday.
Do you have it on your laptop? You can connect.
Oh, yeah, it's on my laptop, sorry. Yeah, it's this one. And the USB. Maybe I could just use the keyboard. Okay, if you think that's fine. Yeah, it's okay. Oh, sorry for the interruption. Okay, I will begin. Hi everyone, I'm Claire from Zhejiang University, China, and here I will introduce you to our innovative kidney biosensor. So as the national survey said, there are 1 in 10 adults in China are affected with kidney diseases, but only 1 in 8 of them are aware of it. In China, there are nearly 4 million cases of AKI every year, and with a high rate of misdiagnosis. What kidney patients need is a portable, fast, and high accurate device, especially continuous testing device, especially for the post-operative patients with chronic diseases, and home users. After comparing the common methods in the Chinese market, we found that there are no accurate, fast, portable, and wearable devices available. This gap inspired the TrueSense biosensor. To further understand the AKI situation in China, we interviewed Dr. Yang Yi from Zhejiang University Affiliated Hospital, and he informed us that sometimes daily or even multiple daily tests are essential for AKI patients in China. And what's more, if we want to introduce our biosensor into hospitals and work with doctors, we have to apply for the permits and get in contact with the hospital's procurement department. So this is our business strategy, and its basis consists of 2 parts. For the B2B part, we will collaborate with the nursing homes, medical institutions, and hospitals. And to the B2C part, one of our highlights is our partnership with the major e-commerce platforms in China. For example, the Tmall and TikTok. According to the regulations in China, companies with proper permit can sell and promote their products online. So our next step is to establish online stores on the platform like Tmall and to hire influencers on TikTok to promote our products through live streaming. At the meantime, we'll also have physical stores like in the entity like drugstores. So we set our price at around 300 yuan per each, and with the initial cost of about 275 yuan per device. And we expected the production cost will decline over time, which allow us to get a net profit from 25 yuan to around 40 yuan per unit. And our revenue stream mainly comes from the sensor sales, accessory sales, and paid services. And we estimate needing about 500,000 yuan as a start capital. And because of the market void, we have the confidence to achieve like 50% market penetration over the 5 years. So this is our financial report. And as you see, this is the estimated net profit over the next 5 years. And the break-even point is between the second year and the third year. Okay, please feel free to reach out if you need any information. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your nice presentation. I'm very interested in the e-commerce part because that's something we tend to avoid in the Netherlands than in Europe. Yes, because with us you have no regulation of who uses it, what for. The patient is not, maybe CKD patients, they know, of course, creatinine, but for at-home use for patients that are not patients, because that's the market you're going to target. You're going to target everyone, probably. If you sell it on TikTok, anyone can, even children. I was very interested in how would that work and how would you control that for the medical part? You have the right target group to target your product, or that you're just gonna let it loose and what would be the ethical thing to do? But how would it? How would that work for you?
Okay, maybe the situation is much different in China. Maybe in China, if you have some relevant certificate or permits, you could sell online. We're very famous for the influencer. Maybe you could call them YouTuber. They were very influential, and there were very popular influential in China called Li Jiaqi, and people always say 1 Li Jiaqi equals to about 1/4 of Taobao. And so it's very popular, so we could just use this channel to sell our biosensor. As for the ethical problem, I think maybe if you have the certificate, it proves that you have followed the country's regulations, and for example, if maybe children can't get the product because the highly regulations on the online platforms in China.
Your certificate is for your product, for your sensor, yes. Mm-hmm. So, but for the use of your product,
the online platform also have kind of you have to prove your ID, prove you are an adult, so you can buy the product.
Okay.
I think big data can play an important role in the e-commerce platform. So in China, you can use oriental advertisement to your target customers, and you can put some money in advertisement so that you can touch your target customers and sell your biosensor. And maybe it is illegal to sell biosensor to the children, so children cannot buy it, and we can find our customers. Yeah.
Okay, and last question on that part. So then probably you will only target then the e-commerce in China, or do you have plans on going globally with the e-commerce part?
At the initial stage, we'll only focus on the Chinese market, but in the future, maybe we would just try some effort to focus on the foreign market.
And last question: do you have so how would you incorporate then the healthcare provider in this part? So okay, you have like a preventative, tool for CKD, maybe at home. I'm not sure if I agree, but still, how would you then incorporate the healthcare system in this so that you don't have like all those people, being scared, having maybe like a high creatinine or false high creatinine, and going to the doctor and saying, okay, my kidneys are failing. So, do you have like a system thought up around it, how it would work with putting your sensor like that on the market?
Yeah, in China we have well-developed community hospitals or local hospitals. We could just cooperate with the doctors in that local hospital and just sell our product to them. And if every community hospital have one device like this, and the neighborhood will just have the access to the medical device, and I think that's the channel to distribute our product.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
Yeah, thank you very much. Is it possible to put the financial slide back on the screen, please? Okay. So one of the question I had is the revenue. Do they scale with the number of units sold? Because you have a number of units sold per year.
Yeah, sale.
Yeah. So essentially, what's the profit margin on the units sold? So how much profit do you make? Because you had a slide where the profit was like in a range, and what's a factor limiting, or what's a factor influencing the profit per unit sold?
You mean the profit margin? So we have a gross estimate, like annual compound growth rate, and it's basically based on the POCT star ARP, and it's quite reasonable, I think.
Yeah, sorry, but my question is more like the 25 to 40 yuan profit.
25 to 40?
So what will it change over the years for the profit to go up?
I see. You see, the second row is the cost will decline over time. For example, in the year 2, we have 275 yuan per device, and in the year 3, we have 260. So that leads to the revenue increase.
But that's accounting for example inflation, because inflation always increase cost.
Yeah.
But also, or will there be different in production to be able to reach a lower cost?
I think because of the scale economy.
Okay.
Yeah. So our cost will decline, I think.
My second question is, so the cost of marketing is not included in it. And since you've opened the door, do you have an idea of how much would it cost to have one of the big influencer actually vouch for your product? Would it be a big expense?
You mean how much would it cost to hire a big influencer?
Yeah. Because it seems that your marketing is centered on the internet channels. So do you have an idea of what would be the cost?
I think maybe it depends on the sales that influencer will make for us. For example, he could just like draw about 20% of the total sales. I think that is the cost to hire someone.
Okay, but then your profit per unit is about 12% at the best. So $40 out of 40 yuan out of 300 yuan. So I mean, if you give 20% of that to the influencer, then you're losing money.
Yeah, I see. But when our brand is well known, you know, we don't need a big influencer to promote our product. Then.
I think it depends on situations. If you use a platform like a TikTok, you can give this influencer like 20K for one advertisement, and it also depends on its number of its fans. Yeah, so if he or she has much fans, he may cost a lot. But if she just a small influencer, you can give it less money. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I think everybody here is a little bit puzzled about the whole business to consumer market. But let's focus in on that a little bit, because influencers and consumer markets also target like all different kind of segments. And one influencer speaks to like boys 12 years old, another influencer speaks to women 30 years old. Who would be the ideal customer for you, and what would be their issue or their problem that they would go online and be influenced by somebody and persuaded by somebody to buy your product, if there's not a medical indication to do so?
Okay, so I did an intern in an internet company. So we use some platform to make advertisements. We can choose the customers like age over 60 or women or men. We can choose those tags. And then we put advertisements so we can touch those customers and persuade them to buy this. So not everyone can see our advertisement, just to target customers.
Who would you want to target? Who? Tell me who they. How old are they? Are they male, female? What do they do in their life? And why would they want to buy it?
We have three type customers. The first one is post operated patients, and the second one is the elders, and the third one is home users. Yeah.
And I think the first two you target through hospitals, regional hospital, and elderly care. So it's the home user. But who is this home user? Are they 25-year-old? Are they 60 years old? Why do they want to use this?
Our target, the most customers are the elders, because they have high risk of chronic diseases, and those are so they are high risk to the kidney injuries. So this is our first kind of customers, and the second one is post-operated patients, like you see.
Final short question, yes or no? Are the elderly users in China on TikTok?
Yeah.
All right.
That's
well,
true.
then you have different elderly people than we.
Yeah.
I'll tell my grandma.
So thank you all for the pitches. For now, you can go to the partner market, which is in the central hall.